Hey guys, it's Kavetta. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am gonna go over how much we spent, or me, because I'm traveling with my two broke best friends, how much I spent on accommodations for approximately 1 year or a little bit more than a year of traveling around the world. It's not completely like to the penny because I did, just round up sometimes or round down for the most part. Uh, but this is what we spent on 1 year of full-time traveling around the world. Okay, so we have 3 people traveling. So my cost will be totally different from yours depending on if you're traveling by yourself, with kids, with another partner that's, splitting the fees or the bills half and half. Like I said, I'm the only one paying because, two broke best friends, and it can be way less than what I paid because you can stay in hostels. I've talked about saving on doing like woofing or house sitting, things like that. So those are things that you can do to get your costs down. We did 42 cities and 25 countries. They're about from July last year to July this year. So I'm going to include Bangkok since we were there May to July. So from July last year to July this year, we did 42 or 43 cities in 25 countries. Whew. So that was going super fast. So that's going to add to the cost because when you stay somewhere for a week or a month, you get bigger discounts. And then, of course, we did Europe, which is super expensive. That alone took up half the budget. So the prices are going to vary. So there's a ton of things that's going to factor in to how much you pay. All right, so let us go over, if you see me looking down at my computer to remember everything. All right, so the first stop we did was to Madrid. We did 7 days in Madrid for $420. And I will try to put up some pictures real quick of the places that we stayed so you can see kind of what the accommodations look like. But I'm trying to go through this quickly, so you might see 1 or 2 pictures or they might flash, so just pause if you want to see kind of what we did. And for most places I did do here Airbnb or hotel walkthrough, so you can go back and look at those videos if you want to see the full review. Some I didn't do it because the places weren't that great and I just stuff came up and I didn't. All right, so Madrid was 7 days and we paid $420 for those nights. Then we jetted off to Lisbon for another 7 days. That was $518. I don't know what's happening with my throat. $518 in Lisbon. And then Paris. This was one of the places that we saved. In Paris, we paid $558.65 for 7 days, only because we stayed outside of the city. I was looking back at my Chase, and it said I paid $900 and something when we went there for 6 days in 2019 and stayed right in the center. So you can see the difference, kinda. But then what I was just saying with Jarrell, he was saying, yeah, but then we had to take the train everywhere. So yeah, that's gonna cost us. So just think about, the $558 that I paid, but then 3 of us on the train almost every day. That probably did come up to the $900 that I paid to stay in the center, and that was easier. You know what I mean? Okay. Then we went to Brussels for 3 days. That was $215.61. 3 days, so like $100 a day. And right there we were in the center of everything, so that was perfect. That the Airbnb, that was pretty good for where it was and what we got. Berlin, Germany, we did 464 euros. I'm not sure the exchange rate at that time. I'm gonna say right around 500 or so, because it billed me in euros and I just couldn't find it in I couldn't find it on my account going back a year. So 464 euros at the exchange rate that time, sometime last year. For 7 days we did Berlin. That was our first hostel, and I think we stayed at a hostel for a couple of days in Jarrell. I'm looking at my watch, seeing him doing crazy stuff. Okay, so Berlin was a hostel, and that was 464 euros for 7 days. We did Amsterdam right after that. That was 5 days for $363 in right in Amsterdam, and that was at the Ibis Hotel. That's our first taste of Ibis, and we've loved it. We haven't had any issues. The rooms are teeny weeny, tiny. But the prices in most places will be inexpensive compared to what you'll get at other hotels or Airbnbs. Okay, so after Amsterdam, we did Prague. That was 7 days in Prague, $404.76. That was a really good place also. Liked that one. And the amount was pretty good. Vienna, we did 5 days at $361.90. Loved Vienna. I did a review on this one. The host was amazing. The place was nice. Loved that one. Zurich, Switzerland, you guys. Switzerland was ridiculous. It was so expensive. If you watch the videos from there, we legit just ate supermarket food because we couldn't afford restaurant food. I think we ate out once just to try it. It was expensive. So Zurich, for 4 days, we paid $312.69. In Lucerne, we paid $363.92, and I did pay with my Chase points for that stay. Interlaken, we stayed 2 days and paid $304.32. But they were so worth it, you guys. Like, Switzerland was amazing. Completely fell in love. When I, reach $1 million, I'll go back. But if anyone wants to take me to Switzerland, I'll go. I'll take the trip. All right, so then we went off to Italy. Milan, we did 4 days at $402.93. That wasn't really worth it. The Airbnb was a little bit far from the center. We had to take a train every day, and the train was like one of the worst train routes or something, because it was always breaking down. There was always something going on, always a delay. And like I said, it was further from the center. The Airbnb wasn't anything special, so that wasn't the best. But that was, I think, maybe one of the more inexpensive ones. And then remember, you guys, I booked these like the day before or the day off when I'm on the train or the plane, because that's just how I booked, because anything could have happened. We could have changed our minds, stayed longer, or just went to another city, which I've done before. And if I do that, then I'm going to lose out on a ton of money, or have to go through insurance to try to get this back. And insurance doesn't cover everything. Insurance doesn't cover me changing my mind. So I book extremely last minute. So I get, the what's left. If you book further ahead, of course, you're going to have choices. All right, so we're in Italy now. Okay, so after Milano, we did Venice for 3 days at $433.59. Rome, beautiful. I did do a video on this B&B bed and breakfast. This was really nice. This was 4 days at $304 in Rome. Then we flew off to Turkey. We did Istanbul for 2 months, so that came to 900 and change for a month. So the total for 2 months was $1,956.64, and that it was okay. It wasn't the best because, of course, it's Turkey. You could have gotten way cheaper, but the place that we found was literally the same day we were moving in, because we booked another Airbnb, got there, it was nothing like the picture. I did a video on this too, so go look if you want to see Istanbul drama. That was a hot mess. So this was completely last minute. And Airbnb, like I said, but you can find for less, but now with everything going up, things are going to be different. But that was the Airbnb in Istanbul, and it was completely refurbished. Everything was new, appliances, the entire place was pretty. We loved it. Like, that was a really nice Airbnb. Then after that, well, while we were still in Istanbul, we went to Cappadocia. We spent 3 days there and paid $224 for our stay in a cave hotel. That was amazing. Again, did a video of that one. Beautiful. After Cappadocia, went back to Istanbul. Then we did Antalya for 1 month. Antalya was $848.80 for the month. I did have my friend come and visit for a week, and she insisted on paying whatever it was going to be for just the week. And I think it ended up being like half of that price, because she was just writing everything off on her for her business. So because we were saying the month, of course you get the monthly discount, but if you were going to stay for a week or so, you know, it's going to be almost the same as a month most of the times, because just how it works out. So I didn't end up paying $848 that month. I probably paid like $500 and something for the month. So that was Antalya. Then London, I didn't do any videos or anything of that, because that was my family's home. I did talk about that in a video. My godmother, she gave me her London flat, and she went to stay with one of my god sisters, her daughter, for the month that we were there. She had told me £500 for the month for us to stay there, and that was with everything. I didn't pay heating, and that was in December, so didn't pay heating or internet or, you know, gas, nothing. It was just the fact. Hold on, you guys. It was just the £500. That was, at the time I used Wise to transfer. It was 667 US. That was for 1 month, and then we ended up staying a week and a couple days more, because we were trying to figure out our lives. And she was so, you know, nice. She never asked me for anything extra or anything, but I did transfer another £100 to her account. So that came up to 805 thereabout, 805 US dollars for a month and a week or a week and a half in London, right in the middle. She was like smack in the middle. We could do everything, go everywhere. That was just a perfect spot. Okay, so then we went to the Balkans. This was one of our favorite areas, going around the Balkans by land border. It was different, something I don't even know how we ended up there. Like, that was never ever in a dream of mine, like, oh yeah, I want to go to the Balkans. I didn't even know what the Balkans were. So then we did that. The first stop we made was to Albania. We went to Tirana. We did 4 days in the first Airbnb, and we didn't love it, and we wanted to stay just for a little bit more because we fell in love with Tirana. Okay, so Tirana was the first 4 days, $137.43. Then we moved to a different building, which was amazing. We loved that building also. That was $273.13 for 7 days. We went to Shkodër. I know, I'm still like, what was that name again? Shkodër or Shkodra. Yeah, Shkodra. 2 days we spent there for $68.47, and that was just a stopover because we were heading to the rest of the Balkans, and by bus during COVID it was ridiculous, so that was the easiest way to go. And then from there we took a private car, we hired a driver and took us across the border. Anyway, so once we left Tirana, we went to Montenegro. We're in Kotor. That was for 4 days at $106.08 in Kotor. Then Split, Croatia, we did 3 days at $126.67. That Airbnb was amazing also. Kotor was, God, that view, you guys, look at this view. I'm gonna put it right here if I can find the picture again. Beautiful. We loved that Airbnb, and the host was just amazing. All right, then after Split, we did Split, Dubrovnik. Where's Dubrovnik, Jarell? We left out Dubrovnik. Okay, I'm gonna put in Dubrovnik somewhere. I know we just be leaving stuff out. I'm gonna put Dubrovnik right here and come back. Yeah, so Dubrovnik that we totally forgot about We stayed for 3 days and paid $127.63. And that was another amazing apartment. We did, wasn't it? It was, yeah, because we were close to the old city. I think I did do a review on this one too. Beautiful place, and that was super inexpensive. Again, if you want to save, you want to stay in Europe or, you know, somewhere around that area, travel to the Balkans. Amazing. Otherwise, come over to Southeast Asia. By this time next year, I'll have how much we spent on, you know, or 1 year or so traveling through this section. Okay, so after the Bravnik, we did Mozart. That was 3 days at $99.58. We fell in love with Bosnia and Herzegovina. That was, I mean, who goes, you know, people go there, I know, but that was just not a country that was on my list or anything. People were looking at me like, what, you're going to Bosnia and Herzegovina? Like, what, where's that even? But this is one of the reasons we travel to new places, different things out of our comfort zone, and just see the world. And that was a beautiful country. We fell in love with Sarajevo, like, no joke. That's one of our favorite places. So for Mozart, we did 3 days, $99.58. Sarajevo, we did 4 days at $151. And that Airbnb was awesome too. We're right at the city, the old city, so we could get to everything. It was perfect. Then to Belgrade we went. Belgrade, Serbia, we did 11 days. Yeah, we stayed there longer because if you notice, some of the places we go, we stay longer because we're trying to rest, kind of, because we were going fast, like 3 days, 4 days. So some days, some places we stay longer just to get a little bit of rest. And this is the last place we were seeing Corey and Lindsay. And if you were following our Balkans travel, you know, we met Corey and Lindsay on the road, and we went to like 7 or 8 different places with them. Not planned, completely unplanned. And we just happened to be spending the same exact amount of days in the cities, going on the same exact bus to the same exact city. Favorite couple. So we had a blast that time. So we spent extra days in Belgrade because we did fall in love with the city too. So that was $430.67 we spent in Belgrade. And then Skopje, we came back, we went to Skopje for 5 days and spent $129.54. Beautiful place. Didn't know about it. Beautiful place. Pristina. We spent 3 days at $116.34. Kosovo, like, what? I know. So after Kosovo, we did Sofia, and we spent 4 days in Belgrade at $157.72. Another Airbnb we liked. It was a little bit further from the center, and we didn't figure out the bus system. A lot of the Balkan countries, Google Maps does not have the routes for buses, so that was a struggle. So we were trying to stay in the center for the most part, so we could just walk to everything. But for Sofia, we did figure it out after, I think, the first day or so. But we did walk to the center once and almost died. Like, that was ridiculous. I don't remember how long it took us. But other than that, the Airbnb is good. And once we figured out the bus system, it was easy to get around. We went to Greece. Took a bus also to Greece. So to Athens, we spent 7 days in Athens, and I paid $302.23. And that's because Airbnb gave me back some money, because the Airbnb was not the greatest, had issues after issues. But we just stayed because, you know, it was decent. It was okay for this price, not the first price. And we got some stuff resolved. He brought us the things that we needed. But it was, yeah, that was a mess of a thing too. But we survived, right? That's one of the things, you just go with the flow. So Athens, we did 7 days. Then we jetted off on the boat or the ferry to Mykonos. Mykonos, we did 4 days and spent $251.76. That is unheard of. because we went during the summer. It was the Rona going around and everything, so the prices were ridiculously cheap. Like now I couldn't go to Mykonos. The same exact Airbnb, I just looked, it's rented for $387 a night with a minimum of 5 nights. More than I paid for 4 days to stay there. That's ridiculous. 4 days in Mykonos for $251. Know when you're going. Go off season. They'll take your money off season because nobody's going there. Because it was cold. Like you saw the videos, I did post about those. It was freezing. It was windy. They were having like some weird weather that time. Crazy times. And that was God, that Airbnb was bomb. That was so Greek island. Beautiful. Like I said, $387 to rent it per night right now. So you know the kind of place that it is. All right. So then from there we went to Syros. Syros was amazing. An island that I didn't even know existed, and one that I would definitely go back to in a heartbeat. It was 2 days we spent there at $97, and that was in a hotel. It was nice. It was right by the port, so we just got off the ship, walked right to the hotel, and it was right on the strip of everything. So we walked everywhere. There was no need to take a car. I don't even know if you could. Okay, fine, there were cars there, but you didn't need a car for anything at all on the little island. Santorini was next. We spent 3 days in Santorini at $124. Again, it is $160 something per night right now if I wanted to book that same place. Know when you going off season. $124 for 3 nights in Santorini for 3 people. Ridiculous. We jetted off to Egypt. Cairo was the first stop. That hotel was a disaster. I did give a review about that when they made us stay in this weird dingy place the first night, and then your room's not ready yet, this whole thing, but they did refund me part of my money and all that. So yeah, so 4 days in Cairo at $190.75. Then we went to Aswan. Love Aswan. Like, I'm not in any hurry to go back to Egypt at all. Like, if you want to take me to Egypt on vacation, you want to like treat me, I'll go, but I'm not gonna make plans to go by myself or anything. I'm not gonna spend my money to go back. It was beautiful, enjoyed it. Not somewhere I really want to go back to. Maybe Aswan. That we did 3 days and spent $129 in the Nubian village. We stayed in one of the Nubian hotels. Beautiful little place. The owner was awesome. I sat and we talked for a little bit. We made friends with one of the 2 couples that were there vacationing together. We were supposed to meet up in Dubai, but they were in Egypt for his family celebrating Ramadan. It was a whole thing, but yeah, we have people that we met again. That's one of the good things about traveling, you guys. Just meeting people all over and, you know, building friendships, building acquaintances, and beautiful thing. All right, so that's what we did in Aswan. From Aswan, we went to Luxor. Luxor, we did also 3 days at $85.35. And yeah, I'm gonna see if I can put pictures. I don't know why I don't remember what the Luxor Airbnb looks like at this. I'm not remembering Luxor. Was it that bad? I don't know. I'll put pictures, but that's the only one I'm stumped on. Like, where did we stay in Luxor? Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Now I remember. We stayed over on the other side where the tombs of the nobles and all that is. Yeah, on the other side. It was okay. It was huge. They needed some, deep cleaning. But other than that, it was fine. Next, we went off to Jordan. Oh, Jordan stole my heart. I had no idea I would fall in love with Jordan. I would go back to Jordan. I would. So we did Amman first for 4 days. We spent $293.28. Then we went to Petra. Beautiful. We did 2 days in Petra. That was $170. I did pay that with points, again, from Chase. 1 day in the Wadi Rum Desert. $40 we paid, and that was a full board, meaning you get breakfast and lunch included. We did bonfire, they gave us tea, they gave us snacks, water, all of that for $40 for 3 people. That was ridiculous. I think I did do a review on that scene with the Bedouin tribe. Amazing time, like, do it. That is a must before you die, honestly. All right, so after Wadi Rum, we went to the Dead Sea for 1 day, just because I wanted to float in the Dead Sea, you know. One of those things you have to do. We spent $114 and we stayed at, what was it? The Ramada? I think it was Ramada we stayed. It was an older hotel, so old. You could see it's wear and tear. They tried. It was decently clean. And it was, they had a shuttle that takes you to the Dead Sea. Or you could just walk, which we did walk to, and then we took the shuttle back. It was a resort, so it had the pool, it had, you know, just about everything you needed. And they did upgrade us to a family suite, which was nice. So we had 2 rooms. I got 1 bedroom, and the kids had their own. And yeah, so that was, it was good. It was okay. Then from the Dead Sea, we went back to Amman for 1 day because we needed to leave from there for Israel. Of course, we didn't go to Israel because everything that was happening at the time during Ramadan, there were bombings, and there just what, you know, I'm sure it would have been fine. I still want to go to Israel. Like, I really want to go to to Tel Aviv and just, you know, Ziva. Anybody watch NCIS? Yeah, that's the only reason. No, just kidding. Not the only reason, but that was the first or main reason that I wanted to go. But anyway, so it's a good thing we went back to Amman for that day, because that same night I decided not to go to Israel because we could have just crossed the border by bus. That same night I decided that, you know, the kids didn't want to go, so I'm like, okay, we will just go to Dubai. So we're like, okay, Abu Dhabi first. So we bought the tickets literally for a couple hours the next day for the flight, and that's what we did. So we flew into Abu Dhabi. We did 4 days in on Yas Island. That was beautiful. That was like vacation in a resort. Breakfast included, big old pool close to the beach. We did the theme parks. It's beautiful. 4 days there came out to $372 in Abu Dhabi. Then we went to Dubai for 6 days and paid $456, and we stayed at Trip by Wyndham. Beautiful hotel again. This price did include 2 tickets to the water park, Wild Wadi water park, so I had to buy 1 additional ticket. But this included 2 tickets and everything else, so that was a really good price or deal that they had going. And then we went back to the States, so we didn't have anything. No, I did give my parents money because we stayed at their house, because my house is rented. I rented out my house. So I did give my parents some money. I didn't add that in our cost, you know, that we were just like bombing it with family, so I didn't put that in there. And then Bangkok in May to July, so, you know, try to get it to a year from July to July. So in Bangkok, we paid $612.76. Whew. Okay, so yeah, that's all the cities that we did. And that was, because remember, I forgot Dubrovnik. I don't know, what is it I forget? Because now I'm thinking back, I'm like, okay, we probably missed a city or 2, I don't know. So that was 43 cities. We spent a total of, Jarrell is helping me, $14,469.23 in a year, traveling 42 cities, 25 countries. I don't know how that price is. I think that price is decent, because as you can see, we started out super high in Europe, and then we got to the Balkans, still in Europe, but you know, we got to the Balkans, and then it was like, woo, kind of leveled out. So I talked about that in my book, how to, you know, balance it out, staying in more expensive countries and then super inexpensive countries, and then it kind of just averages out. So 14,400 for a year of traveling, staying in Airbnbs, I'm sorry, not a year of traveling. a year of accommodations for 3 people. And remember, like I said, we're 3 people. If it was just myself, I could have stayed in hostels, I could have stayed in smaller places. So it would have been more, less, expensive. Would have been more inexpensive. And then, so what I was going to say too is that is actually more than my mortgage back home in Florida. Because what I do, and I've talked about it in my book again, sorry, I'm just, shameless plug. If you haven't bought my ebook yet, go and buy it. Live below your means. So when I bought my house, I completely bought it below my means. So while others may be getting out of America because of the costs, your rent would have been like, this would be half your rent for the year. This was still more than my mortgage back home. Not a lot, but it is still more. So if I stayed home, I would have paid less. So I'm not leaving because I want to save money, really. I mean, now going around Asia is going to be way less. But at that point, I mean, like I said, we did 25 countries for that amount of money. That's, if I stayed home, what would I have done? Nothing at all. Because I didn't even go out. I didn't do anything back home. So I think this was a good deal. I'll take it. All right. So I'll try to do a video. I know it's been a year. I'm trying to go back in my account, seeing where all the funds went, trying to add it. I don't know if I'd be able to do it, but maybe do a video on how much we spend on food, how much we spend on transportation, so like all the flights, all the buses that we took, things like that, to get from country to country, not in each country because that would be crazy, but like how much we spend just to get from one country to the next for 25 countries. Probably get that video, but it's not going to be right now, so keep an eye out to see what becomes of those ideas that I have. So that is it for now. I know this is a longer video, but just trying to get you all the details, all the information. If you have questions for me, go ahead, leave them below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Again, go ahead, grab my ebook. Tons of information in there on things I talked about, like finding places, staying on the lower end of the budget, yada, yada, yada. Don't forget to, what are they supposed to do, Joel?
Like and subscribe.
Hit the notification bell to stay up to date on our adventures. And we'll see you in the next video. For now, bye.